Spooky Mod. Spooky Mod is that moment when your Terraria stops being a cozy sandbox and turns into a carnival where every ride creaks like it's about to snap. The spooky forest biome alone gives you nervous giggles, twisted trees, dark colors, music buzzing in your ears like a mosquito stuck on loop. And the bosses here? Straight nightmare fuel. Rotgord looks harmless at first. You summon him with Rotten Seed, think it's just some goofy pumpkin. Yeah, right. The lower his HP goes, the angrier he gets, swarming you with flies like a rotting dumpster. Big Bone? Whole different level, tossing fire blasts at you so you end up dodging around like it's some cursed rave for masochists. And then there's Pandora's Box. You use it, and boom, random NPCs pop out. Could be funny, could be terrifying. Noob NPC shows up in broad daylight with a 25% chance and sells you the weirdest junk, basically a walking meme. Or Music Man, who sells vinyl records you can actually play in-game. Imagine standing in a creepy forest, listening to vinyl tracks while skeletons run past. That vibe hits different, trust me. Gear-wise, this mod doesn't hold back. Gore armor looks like you escaped from a horror movie and still managed to get solid stats out of it. The Spook 02 Necromantic Machine Pistol shreds everything while looking stylish as hell. And the pet, pure gold, or black actually, a black cat you get from Evil Eyes dropped by Evil Witch. The little dude follows you around everywhere, giving off perfect Halloween vibes. Events crank the horror meter all the way up. Ravyard, Pandora's Box, Egg Incursion. 6 minutes of pure survival chaos in the Valley of Eyes. Endless waves of fleshy monstrosities coming at you. And you're just screaming in the corner wondering why you even started this. And the soundtrack? It doesn't feel like Terraria at all. More like Silent Hill. No wonder Reddit calls it a must-play that literally adds content up to Moonlord with tons of spooky items, biomes, and bosses. This isn't just another mod. It's proof Terraria can be scary. And scary in the best possible way. Terraria Overhaul. Dude, this mod doesn't need monsters to kill you. Nature itself is out to get you. And it straight up feels like you're stuck in a survival thriller. First thing that smacks you in the face? Fire. A torch isn't just cozy light anymore. Nah, now it can set grass, trees, even your house on fire. And boom, your nice little wooden base? Gone. Burning like a whole biome-sized campfire. You're just standing there, panicking like, bruh, I literally just built that. And lightning? Oh man. Hits a tree, forest fire. Hits sand, poof, instant glass. Hits water or metal, giant shockwave. Everything around gets zapped, and you're sitting there fried right along with them. Then fall rolls in and it gets wild. Evil blooming. Corruption or Crimson stop being background noise and turn into actual nightmares. The music shifts into this creepy remixed track, all distorted and uneasy. It feels like the world itself flipped into hostile mode. And the gore, bro. Every fight leaves blood splatters, chunks, stains everywhere. You kill a slime and suddenly there's a puddle, and you're like, wait, was that really the cute little green blob? Terraria just lost its innocence right there. And the nights? Absolute hell. Darker, colder, mobs everywhere. Wolves, ash monsters, flying piranhas, sharks, even freaking trees coming at you. The sounds seal it. Crunching, screams, wind, howling. And the music? Straight up whispers, you're not gonna make it. Overhaul doesn't do jump scares. It flips the whole game into survival horror. You start moving slower, playing cautious, treating every mistake like it might be your last. Terrorborn. Terrorborn is the mod that makes Terraria straight up anxious. You get this new terror meter. Kill mobs, pick up dark energy, and boom, that's your horror currency. Spend it on abilities. The coolest ones? Shriek of Horror. You scream and literally rip energy out of enemies. Terror Warp, a blink to your cursor, perfect for that last-second dodge. And Gelatin Armor, a shield that soaks one hit, but abuse it, and it smacks you back harder. Every fight becomes a mind game. Pop it now, or hold and risk it later. Bosses. They don't feel like bosses, they feel like predators. Shadowcrawler, a giant spider that teleports, spits poison, and comes at you with music so tense, your own heartbeat feels like part of the soundtrack. Beat it, and you grab dark trophies. Tenebrous Armor, that's not loot, that's payoff for shredded nerves. And then there's Prototype 1, summoned with a plasma core. And yeah, this is where hell begins. It blinks around, fires lasers, spews flames, and body slams you like a rocket. The screen pulses, the music ramps up, and you're just sitting there coiled like a spring. Survive, and you walk away with azurite armor pieces and weapons that feel like legit war spoils. That's when it clicks. Everything before this was just warm-up, and the NPCs nail the vibe. Skeleton Sheriff, a Wild West corpse running a shop. Kill mobs, earn combat tokens, and trade them for his creepy gunslinger gear. Then there's Terror Master. He pops up after your first ability and greets you with, "You too seek the anomaly." anomaly? He upgrades your skills, sure, but he carries this unsettling mentor vibe, like he already knows where your path ends. That's Terrorborn. No jump scares, just a game that feels like it's reading your moves and making sure you never, ever relax. Mod of Redemption, the Abandoned Laboratory. The Abandoned Laboratory isn't just another underground dungeon. It's pure sci-fi horror vibes stuffed into Terraria. Walking in feels like booting up Dead Space on pixel steroids. The layout is always fixed. Same coordinates, every world, which already feels creepy, like this place was waiting for you. Go in too early and it's basically pushing the "send me to hell" button. First big scare is the irradiated behemoth. Picture wall of flesh flipped vertical, crawling down at you, puking toxic gas and slime shots. Stand in the wrong spot, instant pancake. And when you push deeper, you'll hit the final nightmare, Patient Zero. That's Carrie Johansson, once a scientist, now a mangled husk of xenomite infection. He phases through attacks, fires lasers, spits corrupted goo, and each time his health drops, his rage amps up. Feels less like a boss fight, more like a bad lab experiment breaking loose. And the loot? That's where it hits. Xenium Blaster. A sci-fi energy rifle that just chews things. Omega Cleaver, a giant blade that swings like you strapped half the moon to a stick. Then there's Hazmat Armor, straight out of Chernobyl cosplay, but with actual gas resistance in beta sector. Sprinkle in buff pills, lab lamps, and creepy log files you'll regret reading at 2 a.m. And yeah, the place lives in your head. Oh, and the pet A little drone helper buzzing next to you, except its audio makes it sound possessed. Reddit folks legit muted after 30 minutes because the chills don't stop. That's what makes the lab terrifying. It doesn't let you feel like the hero. Turrets, poison, bosses that look like failed test subjects. Everything presses down until clearing it feels less like winning a game and more like finally waking up from a nightmare. Remnants. Remnants is when your Terraria world suddenly feels old and broken. Worldgen isn't the same anymore. Instead of clean caves, you get ruined villages, collapsed tunnels, abandoned mines and catacombs that scream people used to live here. And it did not end well. You're walking, thinking, just another mushroom cave. And then, bam, cobwebs, caved-in halls, and chests left behind like someone ran for their life. The real nightmare starts underground. The underworld doesn't feel like just lava and demons anymore. It's a full-on post-apocalyptic furnace, every step like a countdown. The dungeon is now this endless labyrinth, always generated on either the far left or right of the world. The deeper you go, the faster skeleton mobs spawn, until it feels less like exploration and more like you've walked into a mass grave. On the roof, you still find the old man and later the cultists, giving you the arena for Skeletron and Lunatic Cultist. But the true horror waits below. Beneath the ether, there's the magical lab, a massive complex with arcane chests. You see them glowing, packed with loot, but you can't touch them without an arcane key dropped by enchanters. It's not just about treasure, it's about pressure. The game is literally daring you to go deeper, risk more, and pay the price if you mess up. The loot here feels alive with history. Rusty chests hiding starter gear feel like the remains of past adventurers. In hard mode, you might find shadow chests with eerie prizes like the Echo Staff. Summons a spectral bat that fights for you, and honestly feels more like you're dragging a ghost around than using a minion. Creepy, useful, and very on-brand. The catacombs are brutal. Dart traps, boulders, cheap shot hazards in the dark. One wrong step, half your HP gone. And then you hit the Whispering Halls, where wards spawn right behind you and rush along set paths. No dodging, no tricks. Either run or you're dead. That constant tension turns exploration into survival horror. On Reddit, people call Remnants post-apocalyptic Terraria, and they're dead right. It takes your sandbox and breaks it into ruins. Every ruined house, every shaft, every chest feels like part of some silent disaster. You're not just exploring a world, you're exploring what's left of one, the depths. The depths is like if Terraria's hell took a vacation and left you stuck in a collapsing coal mine. Lava, gone. Instead, you've got flowing mercury, black stone, toxic fumes, and an atmosphere that feels less like adventure and more like claustrophobia turned into a biome. Players literally call it Terraria on suffocation mode, and honestly, that's spot on. The mobs down here are what sell the horror. Albino bats glow faintly in the dark, but when they bite, you'll hate caves forever. Pharaoh slimes look like regular blobs, but they're rusted metal and feel like you just got beaten with a bag of screws. Shades? Living shadows that cling to you and eat your HP along with your sanity. And then there's King Coal, basically a pile of burning coal with eyes, charging at you before exploding like a busted furnace on Christmas Eve. And that's why the depths is terrifying. It's not, oh cool, another alt biome. It rewires how you play. In hell, you're a hero with a sword. Down here, you're a miner buried alive praying that torch you just placed is enough to keep the crushing dark at bay. It's not just another layer. It's Terraria pressing down on your chest until you feel small inside an endless, suffocating abyss. Secrets of the Shadows. Secrets of the Shadows is one of those mods that doesn't just give you more Terraria, it messes with your head. Every step feels off, like the world is whispering behind your back. Biomes like the abandoned village and sanctuary, they look like places people once lived but left in a panic. Chests feel cursed, cobwebs stretch too far, and you're not sure if looting that shiny relic is genius or a death wish. Bosses? Yeah, they exist, but here they aren't just damaged sponges. Take Putrid Pinky, a slime with way too much attitude and a gross eye that locks onto you. Or Lux, the laser-spamming ghost boss that turns your screen into a rave you didn't buy tickets for. The game isn't asking, can you win? It's asking, how long can you hold it together? But here's the real kicker. The archaeologist NPC. You don't just find him in town like some happy merchant. Nope, he spawns as a strange transmission in these weird mod-generated structures. You need an anomaly locator just to track him down, because he doesn't even show up on the map. And when you finally do, he sells bizarre artifacts like the Shadow Relic, which buffs your void abilities and makes you feel like you're literally channeling nightmares. Players on Reddit call it broken, but in a good way. That's why SOTS hits so hard. It's not just new bosses and loot. It's the paranoia, the artifacts that feel cursed, and NPCs that act more like specters than friends. This mod doesn't just add content, it makes Terraria feel haunted. Shadows of Abaddon. Night falls. Light fades. Darkness rises. That's how the mod greets you right from the start. And it's not just dramatic words for flavor. Shadows of Abaddon makes it clear from the first minutes. This isn't the same old Terraria anymore. According to the lore, the dark spirit Abaddon ripped open a rift in space and time, and now creatures from another dimension are spilling into your world. That's why the early zones don't feel like regular biomes anymore. They look like fragments of some broken reality. And the enemies? They're nothing like the vanilla slimes. They look like something carved straight out of a nightmare. You barely start, and the game already throws the decree at you. A massive ice beast with a freezing aura. A little later comes Harpy Queen Rainer, circling above and raining down deadly feathers, making you feel like a bug under a can of Raid. And that's not even hard mode yet. Mid-game, you're hunted by Arrhenius, giant spiders crawling in from everywhere, turning your cozy base into a low-budget arachnophobia remake. And by the end, it's pure horror. Nihilus, the god of nothingness, with multiple phases and attacks that feel like darkness itself decided to erase you. The atmosphere only gets heavier with the music. Tracks so gloomy you almost want to mute the game, but the silence makes it worse. All of it together flips Terraria on its head. No more bunnies and rainbows, just a world where every corner hides another dose of anxiety waiting to jump you. Calamity Mod, the Abyss. Calamity is famous for stacking bosses on top of bosses, but there's one zone that feels completely different, like the mod suddenly switches genres. The Abyss, a massive black trench stretching deeper than anything in vanilla Terraria. And here, darkness isn't just background, it's the main enemy. Oxygen constantly drains, the pressure crushes you, visibility is almost zero. Without gear like the abyssal diving suit or special potions, you're basically dead the moment you dive too far. Even with the right setup, you feel like a fragile tourist at the bottom of the ocean, with your torch the only light and something massive moving just outside your vision. The creatures here don't mess around. Reaper sharks stalk you like hungry piranhas, luminous corvina flicker in the shadows, and deeper down the colossal squid waits to grab you. All of it plays out under a soundtrack that feels ripped straight from Alien or some deep-sea horror movie. In the Abyss, you realize Terraria can be terrifying not just because of difficulty, but because of sheer atmosphere. It's not a farming spot, it's a survival test, where every second alive feels like a small victory. Infernum Mode. You know what really makes Infernum terrifying? It's not just that bosses hit harder, it's that they start acting like they know you. In normal Terraria, a boss is just a pattern. You learn the timing, dodge at the right moment, and it's all muscle memory. But in Infernum, you step into the fight and instantly feel off. Supreme Calamitous suddenly shifts her rhythm the moment you use your go-to dodge. Providence starts throwing projectiles from the very angles you always retreat to. And in your head, that sinking thought hits. Wait, is she reading me? It's like you're small again, dropped into a game where bosses stopped being scripted NPCs and became actual predators. They watch how you move, they remember, they play with you. And that's the horror. You're not the player in control anymore. You're being led. The boss feels like the director of a horror stage play, and you're the extra who never makes it out of the final scene. Every move you make feels predicted, like the fight itself is stringing you along, waiting to snap the trap shut. The Spirit Mode. Spirit Biome. The Spirit Biome isn't just another zone. It feels like a gateway straight into Hades' underworld. On the surface, it almost tricks you. Glowing plants, bluish haze, shimmering particles floating through the air, and for a second, it looks magical. But the moment you start digging down, the descent begins. And suddenly it feels like you're stepping into a world where lost souls are trapped. Spirit Underground has 3 layers, each darker, heavier. On the first layer, you run into spirit skulls and floaters, and it feels less like they're fighting and more like they're watching. Then come the unstable wisps, lamps, flickering in the dark where even your torches can't protect you. The second and third layers are worse. Spirit bats, ancient specters, soul crushers, their sprites look like spirits tearing free from the shadows, and the soundtrack seals it. First, fearful atmosphere, then ghastly, and finally, hellish. Each track feels like another step down a staircase straight into hell. But if you're brave enough, there's a reward waiting. Spirit Ore lets you craft unique weapons and armor. The Spirit Saber leaves a ghostly trail of light. The Spirit Trapper armor boosts your magic and makes you look like part of the biome itself. There's the Soul Dagger, dropped by Shadow Wraiths, hovering behind you like a phantom guardian. And then there's the Crown Jewel, Obolos, a mount item that summons the ethereal boat, a spectral vessel with a robed figure rowing through the air. It glows faint blue, flies infinitely, and feels like you're riding with Karen himself, ferryman of souls across the river Styx. That feeling? Absolutely priceless. Rise of Ages. Rise of Ages is a mod that makes you feel like a guest in someone else's world. At first, everything looks bright. Backwoods, an ancient druid forest with glowing plants and ruins overgrown with moss. But this beauty quickly turns into something eerie and mystical. Trees seem to move in the darkness, the fog thickens, and with every step you feel the forest watching back. You start to lose your mind. Here you'll meet the insane lumberjack, who seems to have long gone mad from drinking too many potions. He says that those who get lost in the wilderness never return the same. Their skin turns gray from the lack of sunlight, and their mind no longer belongs to them. Or the forest spirits like the Grim Defender, or Ents that became the result of a failed druidic ritual. A real chill runs through you when you face the bosses. Take Lothor, a druid who sold his soul to darkness in pursuit of immortality. His battle feels like a ritual. He summons waves of tamed creatures, uses the earth and roots as weapons, and it seems the forest itself rises against you. This isn't just a tough fight, it's a scene where you've become the accidental victim of an ancient ceremony. Defeat him and you'll obtain the Flutter Slayer, a blade that makes the very ground tremble. Here, everything feels strange and unusual, from countless potions with bizarre effects to the mystical ingredient Gallipot, used to craft armor and accessories with unnatural power. When you hold them, you feel they weren't meant for mortals. That's the horror of Rise of Ages. It doesn't scare you directly. It makes you feel that behind it all, the biomes, the bosses, the artifacts, there stands an ancient force that merely allows you to play in its world.